Welcome back to the channel, hockey fans. Today let's take a look back at a season of futility, the 1974-75 Washington Capitals. The 1974-75 Washington Capitals season was the first in Capitals history. Along with the Kansas City Scouts, the Capitals joined the National Hockey League as an expansion team for the 1974-75 season. Abe Paulin, owner of the NBA's Washington Bullets, owned the team. Paulin had built the Capitol Center in suburban Landover, Maryland, to house the Bullets and the Capitals. In the 1974 NHL Amateur Draft, the Caps selected defenseman Greg Jolly from the Regina Pats as the first overall pick. They then selected Mike Marson as the 19th overall pick, the second black player to play in the NHL after Willie O'Ree. With the 37th pick, they chose John Paddock. Jolly did not live up to expectations and will forever be known as one of the worst draft picks of all time. Some players picked after Jolly include Brian Trottier, Clark Gillies, Pierre LaRouche, Wilf Paymont, Doug Riseborough, Dave Maloney, Mark Howe, and Charlie Simmer. Paulin's first act as owner was to hire Hall of Famer Milt Schmidt as general manager. The team's record of 8-67-5 reminds me of a song. Is the worst individual season in the NHL's history. It includes the NHL's all-time worst 446 goals against and the fourth all-time worst 5.58 team goals against average. With the combined 30 teams between the NHL and the rival World Hockey Association, the talent pool available to stock the new teams was extremely thin. In their first season, the Capitals set an NHL record for futility, losing 67 of 80 games and only winning one on the road. The Scouts fared only marginally better, getting their first win against the Capitals, albeit in their 10th game of existence, and the expansion was widely seen as a mistake. The Capitals' inaugural season was dreadful, even by expansion standards. They finished 8-67-5, the worst record in NHL history. Their 21 points were half that of their expansion brethren, the Scouts. They won only 8 games, the fewest ever by a team playing at least 70 games. Their .131 winning percentage is still the worst in NHL history. They also set records for most road losses, 39 out of 40, most consecutive road losses, 37, and most consecutive losses, 17, most of which have now been broken. The Capitals recorded their first win 4 games into their inaugural season, a 4-3 home win against the Chicago Blackhawks. They then recorded a 14-game winless streak, including 13 losses and 1 tie. Then came the granddaddy, a 17-game skid, all in regulation, from February 18th to March 28th, 1975. A 12-1 loss to a mediocre Pittsburgh team on March 15th was included. The team was so bad that they were shut out in 13 games. The Capitals didn't just lose in 1974-75. Very often they got crushed. Washington lost 4 games by 10 or more goals. One of the backup goalies to Lowe, Michel Belhumer, went 0-24-3, yet his 5.36 goals against average was tops on the team. Schmidt himself had to take over the coaching reins late in the season. The Capitals failed to qualify for the playoffs. Of Washington's 8 wins, 7 were decided by 2 goals or more, including their season superlative 8-4 win over the Pittsburgh Penguins in their final game. The win would give the Caps a final record of 8-67-5, the worst record in the expansion era, besting the New York Islanders' robust mark of 12-60-6 set 2 years earlier. The last remaining active member of the 1974-75 Washington Capitals was Ron Lowe, who played his final NHL game in the 1984-85 season, although he missed the 1978-79 season as well as the season before this one. Looking back, there have been plenty of bad teams in the NHL. Here are but a few. The 1992-93 San Jose Sharks. The Sharks had a rough season with a record of 11-71-2. They allowed 414 goals and finished 63 points out of a playoff spot. The 1989-90 Quebec Nordiques. This team finished with a 12-61-7 record. Despite having future Hall of Famers like Joe Sakic and Peter Stastny, they struggled mightily. The 1972-73 New York Islanders. In their first season, the Islanders went 12-60-2. They were outscored 347-170 and finished with just 30 points. The Ottawa Senators have had some tough seasons, but one of the worst was their inaugural season in 1992-93. The team finished with a record of 10-70-4, one of the worst in NHL history. They were outscored 395 to 202 and had 5 players with a plus-minus rating of -40 or worse. The Winnipeg Jets' worst season was their inaugural season in 1980-81. The team finished with a record of 9-57-14, which is one of the worst in NHL history. They were outscored 400 to 246 and had a goal differential of 154. The Jets struggled throughout the season, and their performance was a stark contrast to their success in the World Hockey Association before joining the NHL. These teams had some of the most challenging seasons in NHL history, but laid the groundwork for future success. For example, the Islanders went on to win 4 straight Stanley Cups between 1980 and 1983. While the Washington Capitals vindicated themselves with their first Stanley Cup in 2018, the San Jose Sharks reached the Stanley Cup final in 2016, and the Ottawa Senators reached it in 2007. The Quebec Nordiques became the Colorado Avalanche and have won 3 Stanley Cups. Hey hockey fans, if you like this content, please hit that subscribe button. You can also follow my blog at https://tedtalkshockey.com, and remember to keep your stick on the ice. Thanks for watching!